The time has come for all you Distant Worlds 2 fans out there to finally get your hands on the fourth and latest DLC, which introduces 2 new factions, the cute, little, and incredibly sociable Atuuk, and the secretive, ancient, and, well, unsociable Wekkarus. For those that need a quick catch-up on Distant Worlds 2, it's a vast 4X strategy game set in space. Yes, it's like Stellaris, except newer, in some respects shinier, with highly customizable automation settings, so you can focus on the parts of the Empire management that you find interesting. But you can't create your own race, which makes these new faction DLCs all the more exciting. In this video, which I promise will get started in about 10 seconds, we'll take a look at both of the factions in detail, and what makes them unique, as well as what kind of player they might appeal to help you decide whether this DLC is right for you today. So let's start by taking a look at the art style and design for the Atuuk, which is quite frankly my personal favourite of all of the races in Distant Worlds 2. They are quite literally cuddly space bears, pretty much Ewoks or Gizmo from Gremlins if you squinted your eyes a bit. But what they lack in stature, they more than make up for in their friendly nature and their tendency to press that big red button, which we'll get onto in a moment. Their station and ship designs in particular are hands down my favourite in the entire game. These ships look absolutely bonkers, and I love it. Whether they remind you of Futurama or Buck Rogers, whatever it might be, I think we can all agree these ships are downright cool, and they've done a great job with the design of the little Atuuk. So let's get to know these guys a little better before looking at what makes them different in terms of actual gameplay. Atuuks are a primitive, short, cuddly bear-like race with gold-green fur. They are very friendly, but rarely develop sufficient technology to be spacefaring. However, with their high reproductive rate, Atuuk communities can grow quickly. So they're cuddly, friendly, horny, and a bit thick. They have preserved a detailed oral history reaching back hundreds of generations. Over time, they have also developed a complex social order. Each individual must accept their preordained status within the community, or face ostracism. Sounds painful. Their unwillingness to tolerate any innovative thinking has caused their culture and technology to stagnate at a fairly primitive level. Above all else, Atuuks enjoy hunting in the jungles of their homeworlds. Their preferred prey is the striped Kaguar, a huge saber cat armed with razor-sharp claws. Hunting this enormous beast is extremely dangerous. Atuuks usually hunt Kaguars in teams of 30 to 40, armed only with simple stone-tipped spears. And yet, they are a spacefaring species, apparently. Atuuks live in crude tree huts on forest, grasslands, or mangrove forest planets. So they really are Ewoks. So if that's how they look and behave, what do the Atuuk bring to the table in terms of game mechanics? Central to an Atuuk playthrough is the Great Direction. The Atuuk are not really good at anything by default, but they have 7 Great Directions, and every 5 years you get to choose from 3 of these great directions, with each one enabling them to excel at one particular aspect of the game, such as research or fighting, etc., with each great direction feeding into a unique victory objective. Atuuks aren't great at engineering, so every now and again you'll find a ship will either become heavily damaged or even destroyed, seemingly at random. Rather hilariously, when there has been a critical research success, you get to either push the big red button or not push the big red button, where pushing the button leads to a variety of positive or negative events. I think we can all agree to push the button every single time, though. Atuuk come with various unique character traits, but a particular favourite that I wanted to highlight is the cute but deadly trait, which brings increased espionage and increased assassination for that character. The Atuuk have a high population growth rate in general, which feeds into them having strength in numbers. For example, when ships are boarded or planets are invaded, you get a bonus, provided your Atuuk outnumber the enemy. They like almost all races and don't dislike anyone, getting various bonuses when signing agreements and the like. So they're pretty active on the galactic stage for those who enjoy a bit of diplomacy. Then finally, I thought it worth pointing out that the Atuuk are the very first 100% psychic-resistant race. I think the bottom line for the Atuuk is you can really tell the developers have had some fun with this race, whether it's the Futurama ship design, the fact these guys are as stupid as they are cuddly, or the big red button decision, which never gets boring. They're fun and a great addition to the game. Next up, we have the somewhat more serious Wekkarus. In contrast with the cute and cuddly Atuuk, the Wekkarus are potentially the stuff of nightmares. They look terrifying, but really we're getting fishy, squiddy, shrimpy vibes from these guys. Their portraits do look impressive, and so do their base and ship designs. They've got the dark contrasting with the bright lines on their ships, which gives me a slight Covenant from Halo vibe in terms of the overall design, albeit the wrong colour scheme. Overall, not as impactful as the Atuuk in their design, but the Wekkarus certainly hold their own when compared to most other races in general. So let's get to know these guys a little better too. Wekkarus are large crustaceans with distinctive facial mandibles. They live deep in the seas of ocean planets. They can also live out of water for extended periods, but prefer a damp environment. They construct entire underwater cities in the vast caverns and tunnels of the ocean worlds they inhabit. These cities are centers of technology and industry, manufacturing advanced underwater technology that is used throughout the galaxy. The deep undersea tunnels that the Wekkarus inhabit are also the home to an abundance of other marine life, some of it hostile. Wekkarus fear one predator in particular, the cuddly Atuuk. Just kidding. The Leviathan Darkhall, a formidable deep-sea monster that grows to lengths of 100 meters or more. Wekkarus have adapted to these threats by developing powerful force fields that guard the entrances to their underwater colonies. The Wekkarus also have deep knowledge of highly specialized wave beam weapons. This has led them to develop the potent pulse wave weapon. This unique type of beam weapon fires powerful waves of energy at targets. Wekkarus are a generally peaceful species that like to keep to themselves. Overall, the Wekkarus are pretty good with scientific research, which is always a most welcome trait for any race. In particular, as well as a decent rate of research overall, you get the chance to select new research skills for a scientist whenever they achieve a critical research success. Wekkarus are decent with counter-espionage with an increased chance of intercepting foreign spies, so you can imprison or execute them. Brutal, but I like it. An economic benefit that is easy to underestimate is that they will occasionally discover a new resource at a deep ocean colony. Then we move on to the big one, their connection with their ancestors, which is a bit bonkers, so I hope you're ready for this. Let's start small. When a scientist experiences a critical research success or failure, a random ghost scientist, yes, ghost, appears to assist with further research before disappearing after a while. Oh wait, it gets better. If a spy mission is detected, there's a chance your spy will avoid capture due to the intervention of an ancient spy ghost. Whenever you sign a free trade agreement or defense pact, there's a chance of an additional boost to relations because, yes, you guessed it, a random ghost of the past might show up and intervene for you. But it gets better. Whenever you're fighting, you might get random, uncontrollable ghost ships or troops turn up to help you out for a while before disappearing. And you might also get a ghost admiral or general. It's all a bit bonkers, but if you think about it, how are you meant to fight against that? When you think you know how big the Wekkarus fleet is and its composition, random ancestor ghosts turn up mid-battle and pitch in against you. Is it unorthodox? Yes. Is it powerful? Very yes. Then finally, the Wekkarus are not very sociable, especially with the more aggressive races of the galaxy. Diplomacy is still a thing for these guys, you just start off on the wrong foot with basically everyone. So, in conclusion, this is another strong DLC for a game that is going from strength to strength. Usually these new faction DLCs come with two polar opposite factions. Usually one is violent and the other more peace-loving, and inevitably the violent race is more fun to play. However, this most recent faction DLC is different as neither of these new races are particularly violent. On the one hand, you have the mysterious Wekkarus with the ghostly ancestors, and on the other you have the stars of the show, the cuddly Ewok gremlin Atuuks, who love to push a big red button. The Atuuk on their own make this a DLC worth purchasing, but the Wekkarus add a decent element themselves. Looking at value for money, this DLC in isolation may seem expensive as it only adds 2 races, some light mechanics and a bit of story for each to the base game. However, as expansive as the base game is, it does only come with a limited number of races, so to add 2 whole new ones is actually a large percentage expansion when you look at it in that way. Combine that with the fact that you could spend half of your lifetime playing Distant Worlds 2, and this DLC will only increase that. You could certainly argue the price is well worth paying, especially if you're willing to purchase a DLC, simply to show your support to the developers of this game, which I know from discussions in the comments of my other Distant Worlds 2 videos applies to many of you. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask, or if you already own this DLC and have some additional information you'd like to add, please let us all know in the comments below. If you found the video useful, please leave a like for the algorithm gods, and if you enjoy this style of review, consider subscribing for more content. And I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.